2 words were enough for Aliyah Boston to reveal everything that is broken in the WNBA today. While the league's veteran players stayed quiet or burned with jealousy over Caitlin Clark receiving the biggest broadcasting opportunity in women's basketball history, Aliyah shared 2 words that spoke louder than any polished PR message ever could. Period, babes. In that moment, she showed the entire league what true teammates actually look like, while also calling out every veteran who spent the last 2 years trying to tear Caitlin apart. NBC has officially announced that Caitlin Clark will join their coverage for Sunday Night Basketball, making her first appearance on February 1st at Madison Square Garden for Lakers vs. Knicks. This is not a symbolic cameo or a favor. NBC is placing her alongside Hall of Famers Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter, with host Maria Taylor on their main basketball show. To put this in perspective, this is the same network that paid Michael Jordan $40 million for what was basically a 1-hour interview. They do not make decisions like this unless they see enormous value. And Aliyah's instant reaction was pure excitement, no delay, no worry about whether supporting Caitlin would upset the veteran players who have made disliking her their whole identity. Just real happiness for her teammates' success. If you think the deeper story matters, hit that like button. It shows us we're heading in the right direction. Here's why Aliyah's support actually matters. The situation around this moment explains everything about why the Indiana Fever are creating something special. While much of the WNBA is stuck in toxic jealousy, the 2025 season was a nightmare for Indiana. Caitlin appeared in only 13 games because of multiple injuries, most notably a right groin injury that ended her season early. Sophie Cunningham and 3 other players also went down with season-ending injuries. The Fever were completely depleted. And who was forced to shoulder the pressure no one expected? Aliyah Boston. She played all 44 regular season games. Think about that. While her star teammate was sidelined and the roster collapsed around her, Aliyah showed up every single night and performed. She averaged 15 points on 53.8%, shooting 8.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and 1.2 steals. She earned her 3rd straight All-Star selection. That is not simply filling a gap, that is proving you are a franchise cornerstone. So when Aliyah watches Caitlin secure a huge NBC deal during the off-season, while she herself is one of only 3 Fever players under contract for May 2026, she could easily feel bitter. She could think, I carried this team while you were hurt, and now you are the one getting all the opportunities. She could stay quiet like so many others have done, but instead she shows real excitement. That is the difference between real leaders and jealous pretenders. Now let's talk about what no one else wants to admit. The NBA has no issue recognizing Caitlin Clark as the most iconic figure in basketball today, not just women's basketball as a whole. When she attends golf tournaments or shows up at other sports events, every league except her own celebrates the impact she has. NBA media is not afraid to speak honestly, but in the WNBA we see silence, subtle hostility, and constant downplaying of success. You were right to notice this pattern. Most WNBA veterans said absolutely nothing about Caitlin's NBC deal. A few others posted subtle and passive-aggressive remarks about players receiving opportunities they supposedly did not earn. It is the same routine they have followed for the past 2 years. Anything Caitlin achieves is brushed aside, minimized, or flat-out ignored. Then Aliyah steps in and completely breaks that toxic cycle with just 2 words and an emoji. The difference is honestly embarrassing for the veterans. While they are outside league offices during CBA negotiations making unrealistic salary demands tied to revenue Caitlin helped generate, she is landing major opportunities next to NBA legends While union leaders with conflicts of interest are ruining negotiations, Caitlin is expanding her brand and pushing women's basketball forward. And Aliyah is sharp enough to understand exactly what is happening. Many of you have been pointing this out for weeks. The WNBA veteran culture has become its own biggest problem. These are players who should be celebrating when the league's biggest star gets opportunities that raise everyone's visibility. Instead, they feel threatened. They are insecure. They are resentful that one player brought historic attention and money to a league that badly needed both. Aliyah's Instagram post was not just support for a teammate. It was a quiet call-out of every jealous veteran who spent 2 years trying to tear down Caitlin's success. It was saying this is what professionalism looks like. This is how confident players respond when a teammate succeeds. This is what real leadership and real friendship look like. Other veterans should pay attention. When you read between the lines of that 2-word response, it reveals something critical about the Fever's future. This franchise is built around the connection between these two stars. They are the foundation. If they continue showing the support and respect we have seen, Indiana has a real chance to build something special. If that relationship ever turned into the same jealousy and bitterness we see across the league, the franchise would suffer. Based on Aliyah's reaction, that bond is still strong. And that should worry the rest of the WNBA, because the Fever are not just talented. They have the cultural base that championship teams are built on. Two stars who truly support each other are far more valuable than two equally talented stars who resent one another. This is not the first time Aliyah has shown this type of character. Throughout Caitlin's rookie season, when veterans were fouling her constantly and complaining about the attention she brought to the league, Aliyah stood by her. When people questioned whether the hype was justified, Aliyah defended her teammate. She has been consistent since day one. That consistency matters because it is real, not performative. If you see what we are seeing, drop a comment on whether the Fever have the healthiest star partnership in the WNBA. Let's tune out the noise and talk about what real team culture actually looks like, because this matters more than most people realize. There is another moment that deserves more attention. When NBC asked Aliyah about Caitlin joining her as a colleague at the network, her response was instant and genuine. She said she was extremely excited, that it was awesome, and that Caitlin would do a great job. There was no pause, no hesitation, no conditions, just pure support. Compare that to how other players have reacted to Caitlin's success, and the difference is obvious. Now think about what Aliyah dealt with during that brutal 2025 season. She was not just playing her usual role. She was carrying a team that lost its best player and several other starters. That is the type of situation that exposes your character. That is when resentment can creep in if you allow it. Especially when your injured teammate is landing major deals while you are grinding through a full season with limited help. But Aliyah never let that bitterness take hold. We know this from how she spoke about her relationship with Caitlin during the season. When asked about giving advice, receiving advice, and stepping into a leadership role with a rookie teammate, Aliyah was thoughtful and honest. She explained that she has always been someone who gives advice because of how she understands the game. She talked about knowing exactly what Caitlin would face as a rookie, from officiating to social media pressure. When you connect all of this, it paints a powerful picture. Aliyah said Caitlin handles everything like a champion. She said Caitlin understands she has a big name and people will always have opinions, but at the core she is just a competitor. Aliyah's advice was simple. Be aggressive. Do not worry about the referees, because rookies rarely get calls. They want to see if you can survive in this league. That is mentorship. That is leadership. That is someone who could have seen a hyped rookie as a threat, but instead chose to help her succeed. Aliyah recognized early that Caitlin was there to compete and win, and she fully supported that mission. As the season continued, she watched Caitlin handle adversity with professionalism, which only confirmed what she already believed. Now fast forward to the NBC announcement. Caitlin released a statement that was humble and appreciative. She said she was honored to join the Sunday night basketball team and excited to learn from Carmelo, Tracy, and Vince, and that it would be fun to join them throughout the season. Her focus was on learning from legends. That same professionalism mirrors how Aliyah supports her teammates' success. They are aligned in how they approach their careers and their public image. You were right to notice the timing of all of this. The WNBA is currently in the middle of complete chaos with CBA negotiations. Veterans are making unrealistic demands. Union leadership has serious conflicts of interest. The situation is a mess largely created by those same veterans. While all of that is happening, Caitlin is landing deals that put women's basketball on the biggest platforms. The contrast could not be clearer. Aliyah choosing Caitlin's professionalism over veteran pettiness sends a strong message about the Fever's culture. It says we are not part of that toxic jealousy. We are building something different. We support each other because we understand that success for one lifts everyone. When Caitlin elevates women's basketball, it benefits Aliyah too. Social media exploded after Aliyah's post, and the reaction tells the whole story. Fans are desperate for positive relationships in women's basketball. They're tired of constant drama and bitterness. People praised Aliyah for being a genuine friend and teammate and contrasted her support with the silence from veterans who should have been celebrating a WNBA player earning such a prestigious role. The timing of her support mattered as well. She did not wait to see how others would respond. She did not worry about how supporting Caitlin might affect her standing with veteran players. She celebrated immediately. That kind of spontaneous enthusiasm is what real support looks like, and fans know the difference between authenticity and carefully crafted public relations. Based on multiple reports and everything we are seeing, the Fever are positioning themselves as the opposite of the league's toxic culture. While the WNBA is weighed down by jealousy, Indiana is building mutual respect between its stars. While others tear each other down, the Fever lift each other up. That cultural edge may be even more valuable than the talent advantage they already have. The pressure heading into 2026 will be massive. Caitlin needs to stay healthy and dominate for a full season. Aliyah needs to maintain her all-star level play with hopefully more roster support. The franchise needs both stars performing at a high level to contend for championships. But having genuine respect and support between teammates makes handling that pressure much easier. When your teammate is truly happy for your success, it creates positive momentum that benefits everyone. Aliyah's two-word Instagram response may seem small at first, but given how Caitlin's success has been treated around the league, it carries real weight. It says, "I am secure enough to celebrate your success without jealousy." It says, "Your achievements do not threaten me, they elevate our organization." It defines what professionalism looks like and quietly exposes those who lack it. The Indiana Fever were incredibly fortunate to draft Aliyah first overall in 2023 and Caitlin first overall in 2024. Not just because of their talent, but because of their character. Together, they form the foundation of a potential dynasty. Aliyah's enthusiastic support of Caitlin's NBC deal is just the latest example of how strong that foundation is. If you appreciate seeing professionalism overcome jealousy in the WNBA, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We will continue breaking down why the Fever's culture is about to make the rest of the league look foolish. Aliyah Boston just showed everyone what real teammates look like. Two words that said everything.